Sunday will mark 3 years since a gunman opened fire in Florida, killing 17 students and teachers and injuring 17 others.
Shooting fueled nationwide calls for change, not just with gun control, but to Florida's approach to mental health care in public schools. News 4 Jax reporter Ashley Harding joins us live. And Ashley, you talked with a clinical psychologist about progress that's been made since Parkland.
That is right, Bruce. That doctor I spoke with was actually part of that initial push to bring better mental health services to Florida's public schools after the Parkland shooting. And she says $69 million went directly to that initiative. And she says while strides have been made, more work needs to be done. 3 years after the tragedy at Stoneman Douglas High School, a community remembers, grieves, and reflects. Dr. Christine Caulfield is a clinical psychologist and has followed this tragedy closely.
It's already been 3 years. Those families, that community, they still live with us.
Absolutely. And we need to avert these tragedies. And we need to ensure that mental health services are in place.
Dr. Caulfield says with $69 million going to mental health services, students in schools now have better resources. She says every school now has counselors available during school hours. Money was also set aside for mobile response teams, which are deployed when a child is escalating and in need of clinical intervention. The end goal is to de-escalate and assess whether a Baker Act is needed.
If a Baker Act is not necessary to divert that child from being Baker Acted and then wrap services around that child and the family members so that the child can get the help that they need.
While these are all strides, Dr. Caulfield says for more to happen, the mental health stigma still needs to be addressed.
So I think as we raise awareness on the strength it takes to acknowledge you're having issues and reach out for help, I think that's one step in the right direction.
Remembering 17 precious lives while working to save others. And parents, teachers, and guardians, Dr. Caulfield also said there are changes in behavior that you should be aware of in your children to look for these. Some of the big ones she mentioned right here, we'll show those to you. If your son or daughter is becoming more isolated, if they're suddenly hanging out with new friends or a new crowd, maybe one that you don't approve of, also involved with drugs or alcohol, and if their grades are dropping. She says those things can be signs that there may be some trouble and maybe they do need some mental health help. And of course, as always, if you see something, say something. Live this morning, Ashley Harding, Channel 4, the local station.